My name is Chris Heatherdale, and I am the host of the BizRise Effect podcast. You can find us on YouTube, and this is where we talk about the raw and real stories of real business owners and go over different strategies as they come up. This is probably going to be one of the most common things that will ever be said, and I'll probably say it about at least 1,000 times over this podcast. And you know what? And probably so will my guests. Your network is your net worth. All right. Now, I'm not saying you can place a value on, okay, this guy here is worth $100 or whatever the case might be, but it's the people that you know and that you end up mingling with, the people that you start hanging out with, that will determine the future of your success. You start hanging out with a bunch of, 5 broke people, you're going to be the sixth one. You hang out with 5 millionaires, you're the sixth one too. So that's, it's one of the most valuable lessons I have ever learned. And I kind of learned it the hard way. I have to admit, there are times where I'm a bit of an introvert. I kind of like to stick to my own. It took a lot for me to get out there, to some of these network events. And you know what though? A few years ago, now I'm having all these memories. A few years ago, I went to this one real estate event, and this gentleman, walked up to me. He had been following me on my Facebook for some time, and I said some political things that were not in favorable of Facebook community standards. Anyways, so he came up and was like, "You're Chris Heatherdale." And I was like, "Well, who are you?" So he introduced himself and he was like, "Yeah, no, I followed you since when you were homeless and, you coming back up and now you're in Texas. Like I was kind of excited to meet you in person." So he had been following me since I lived in Colorado, years and years prior. So anyways, this gentleman, I looked him up on my Facebook and I was like, "Dude, we're not friends." We're not friends on Facebook. He's like, "What?" So it was kind of a funny moment, but I ended up meeting him and like 2 others that we became close friends for some time. We had a little group thing going. And back then I wasn't this cleaning thing wasn't really happening yet. I was wholesaling. I was in the real estate wholesaling world. And this gentleman ended up buying a whole bunch of properties from me. Not only him, but people that he knew, he was introducing me to. And by and by, my network in that side of that part of business just started to grow. So I was doing what's called dispositions. If you haven't been in real estate or did any wholesaling, dispositions is where you're bringing in the end buyer. And not only that, but I use my connections from when I used to broker hard money loans. So people were always, trying to find funding and financing for purchasing these real estate investment homes to either flip or to rent out or, do what's called a BRRRR strategy. So, but in any case, and it doesn't stop there. Going when I started the whole, cleaning, my cleaning business was my very first one. Everyone that I started coming in contact with, seemed to need a professional cleaning service, particularly into Airbnbs. And wouldn't you know that different realtors and property managers that I was just kind of starting to meet out of nowhere, just they already heard of my company. They already knew who I was before I met them. It's like, "No, people talk about you." It's like they know who you are. That kind of brings in the high quality standards that I had placed and set for my teams. And but it goes on from there. From there it's like you end up meeting someone that's has phenomenal tax advice. You end up meeting bookkeepers. You end up meeting virtual assistant brokerages. I mean, you end up meeting people that buy businesses. The doors start opening to give you more opportunities in creating additional income. It's like for a time there, we outsourced our handyman. And this was before we started our handyman service. And when we were outsourcing those handymen, it was just people that just kept coming. And as my network grew, as I talked to more people, and I was actually making money off of them, they were paying me a commission for them to do the work. And it was incredible. And then, a lot of them ended up helping me out, on my own projects. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So one of the biggest things that I will always emphasize, no matter what business you're in, you could be selling hats. I don't care if you have a 3D printer. Go out there and network. There's an international company called BNI Business. Yes, BNI. Look them up. You can Google them. Every major city has a chapter. I don't know about small towns. I can't speak for them. I don't know how prevalent they are outside of the United States, but I know for a fact in the US, BNI is another big one. You can go on different apps like Meetup, and just do the things that you love. You like hiking? Go on a hiking trip. Meetup has hiking trips. I mean, they really do. Go into groups. It doesn't have to be business. You never know who you're going to end up meeting in some of these things. It's like there's DFW has this social group, that I went to before, and we actually set up what do you call it? It was a single mom. It was a philanthropy thing. They were nominating, somebody that's struggling, that has a good heart. And this was a lady, she was a single parent, I'm sorry. And she won a raffle, and we got involved, and then she ended up like spreading the word how great of a job we were doing and all that. It was and this is just a regular social group. This has nothing to do, with business. But networking is networking. And you never know where these groups that you end up going to, these luncheons, are going to be. I mean, some of them you pay for. They can sometimes range $5 to $20, give or take. But a lot of them are free. All it takes is your time and maybe paying for some parking, But in any case, yes, your network is your net worth. And I'm going to be repeating this over and over throughout the life of this podcast, throughout any time that I want to talk to somebody. If it's someone that wants to always ask a question, how do I grow my business? How do I get more clients? Go network. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe and comment down below more to let me know that you want to know more on how to make $10,000 per month. Also, make sure you check us out on our YouTube podcast, where I go into more in the raw details of how you can go ahead and elevate yourself and make that $10,000 a month easy.